Hey YouTube, I'm back with another recap. We just finished round 6. Here is the casualty bin for the round. The boneyard dish. A lot of Soviets, a lot of chips, a lot of Italians, Germans, some French, all that fun stuff. Okay, so here's what happened. Germany is doing a pincer movement and went into Archangel. They took Smolensk and Russia took that back. They took Ukraine, and overall as Russia I rolled pretty terribly this turn. When I was Russia, when I took Smolensk back, he brought in AAA in there. Mike brought a AAA in there, and I brought in my fighter and my tac. A fighter and my tac. And he got snake eyes, and I lost 2 very precious Soviet aircraft. That bites. I got 1 fighter left as the Soviets. But I did take out Smolensk. There was only like 5 units there, including the AAA, so kind of it bites, but you know, still knock that out. And yeah, so he's making a headway into Ukraine. My 6th infantry there rolled no hits, and I was wiped out. And then besides that, Soviet Union just has the option of blockers to prevent stuff from happening. And then it's just I'm buying all infantry. As you can see, the Allies have reinforced Moscow considerably. So we'll see how that goes. Backing up to Germany, the naval units in 125 went to 112, and he took France back. I managed to knock out a few of his infantry with my new French infantry, and the newly Italian AAA did manage to knock out one of his fighters, but he still took France back, so he got another 17 bucks on top of France back because of that. So there's that. He retook Greater Southern Germany, and he retook Romania, and Poland, and Eastern Poland. He also took that as well. There was 1 Italian in Eastern Poland. Then from there, he's got, and then the Soviets, the mech from Finland, I took Norway since it was a walk-in, might as well. And then the tank that I had in Amur, I railed that back, and then I also moved my units back into Saka and one into Brescia so he could rail back. Hold back on that front a little bit. We were thinking maybe he was going to invade Amur because he was gearing up for it, so I could get these Mongolian units, but he did not do that. Japan instead attacked China, knocked out, I believe, 6 or 5 infantry in Anhui, 6 infantry, I think it was, without getting any hits, which really blows for China. And then all of his aircraft landed in Shantung. He brought air units into Shanghai. So fortified that, which scared the Chinese away. They backed into, that's Hunan, you can't see it, but that is Hunan. Those guys are in there. As you can see, this is very crowded right now. Let's see. His capital ships from down over here, he brought back up to the Philippines. Fortified up here. His battleships are super battleships. Those each have 1 damage, so those will be fully repaired at his next turn. Because the Pacific is looking pretty thin in terms of Allied presence. But that was because Japan was doing very poorly at the beginning of the game, and they didn't have to, but now Japan is a considerable threat. Still, you know, we don't have much to rebuttal against it right now. Anzac is fortifying in Queensland and making ships to help out the Americans here off the coast of New Zealand. Hawaii has a decent amount of units. He's got no transports over there, so Hawaii is now safe. He's got a destroyer and an infantry and this stuff here on the west coast of US. Germany is getting all of the US's attention, and the US is building more naval units, more infantry, and other TAC. The US, let's back up here so you can see the big picture right now. So the US, for the units from Italian Libya, they landed with the air transports. He landed them in Yugoslavia and then landed in Rome. The naval units from here he sent over here with the transports, transporting the 3 artillery he had left over from taking Rome, and what's it, 1, 2, 3? Yeah, and then over here, I'm blanking. Oh yeah, these guys were all brought over. These guys were all brought over from the States, and then air transports brought over 6 infantry, dropped them in Normandy, as well as other units that he had down here, and taking Normandy, which was a walk-in. So Normandy is now U.S. controlled. It does not go back to France because Paris is occupied once more. The aircraft carrier he had here, he brought out here, fortified southern France with that fighter that it had on it. There are some, it's kind of hard to see, but there's now Canadian units there, as well as Italian units. If you're just joining us, again, Italy is now an ally, and Italy is Super Italy. So we've been calling this Operation Super Mario with Italy. So it's crazy. Italy, just because of the NO for the Axis territories, Italy has had a ton of money. So yeah, just crazy. I backed out of Slovakia-Hungary with Italy, so he's going to nab that anyway, but Bulgaria, Yugoslavia fortified. Got 9 units in northern Italy. He could attack them, but he's mostly just got infantry. He's turtling here pretty bad. He's got advanced artillery, which can bump up 2 infantry each, but there's only 2 artillery there and AAA and stuff, so we'll see. And also the aircraft. His units here, his naval units here in 112, we have blocked them with the 2 Canadian destroyers and 1 British destroyer that I threw down there. Britain built a fighter, another bomber, and went for, let's see, the bomber that I had for the UK here flew over and dropped 2 more infantry in Moscow. I've also been railing units from the Middle East up to Leningrad, and then been able to rail them more so that way. So we're just pumping Allied units this way. The Italians, the French fighter, and the British fighter that were here all went over here. So right now, like, we have a ton of units here in Moscow, and so it's not impossible, but it is very difficult. It'll be very difficult for him to take it if he wants to take Moscow. Otherwise, Russia's just trying to hold on for dear life. It's still possible he can take that. He doesn't think he can, but it's still possible. Let's go over here for a moment. This is where we're at on the income tracker, more or less. UK is tied with Japan, and we got our tech. Spoiler, my tech is ATC, and there's radar and ATC for UK. I didn't get a chance to use it, but Rick spoiled it in our calls to each other, so Mike knows. So that's what it is. I haven't gotten a chance to use it, but that's what I got. These are the NOs that Mike has currently. 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So he's got 8 of those, 7 of which are victory cities. These are ones that are possible for him to get. So if he gets these, he has 2 turns to get these. And if he gets these or anything else, he wins. That's Calcutta. That's not. So he can possibly get Stalingrad, resources, Pacific Islands, and world oil 7 out of 10. He has world oil 4 out of 10. But that is the state of things as it is right now. Let's see where else. UK this is the situation in the Middle East. UK is pumping units out in India. This guy fell over. Naval units came this way. Ooh, knocking stuff over. Naval units went over this way. Sending more units to reinforce Malaya. Reinforcing Hong Kong, reinforcing the Chinese. That's that. Anzac, I already covered Anzac. Canada bought another destroyer. They got a tank and an infantry there in southern France. It's kind of hard to see because of the bombers. I'll go over here. But yeah, Italy is everywhere. Italy's a powerhouse. Italy was a powerhouse for the Axis at the beginning of the game, and they're a powerhouse for America. Italy's at 18 on the tracker, and they got 9 in NOs, I think it is. Yeah, because of Slovakia, Hungary. Obviously, I'm going to lose that. That's a walk-in, but it is what it is. But that is what things are looking like right now. French sent the fighter up there as well to Moscow and reinforced 97. And then the French unit railed to Stalingrad. This game is crazy. We're loving it. Mike's probably hating it at this point, but Rick and I still think he's got a very good chance to win. He's just got to do a couple things in the Pacific. Japan's going to have to do most of the heavy lifting, with Germany holding on for dear life and trying to take Stalingrad and Moscow and go for the resources, which is very possible. It's very possible he'll get Urals. Very possible he'll get Caucasus. It's very possible Japan can snag Siberia, because Russia's probably not going to be able to do Manchuria. We'll see. But that is the state of things as it is right now. This game is nuts. We love it. We can't wait to play BBR again. A while ago, Mike said he wanted to play this again, because we've all made mistakes. But Mike said he would want to play it again, the same sides. Now knowing what we know now, so basically do this game as a do-over, and I'm all for that. I'm all for it, because I made mistakes too. So did Rick. So maybe we'll do that, or maybe we'll switch it up. Who knows? But anyway, point being, BBR is awesome. If you haven't played it, this is just my first game of it, or our first game of it, and we love it. This is only This is the top of turn 7. 6 turns have happened, and this is what's happened in the world, in Europe. This is what's happened in the Pacific. Like, this is all on steroids in comparison to playing the amount of times we've spent playing global out of box, and then jumping to this is just, it is night and day. We don't see ourselves going back to global anytime soon necessarily. Maybe not forever, but it's definitely gonna be a while before we go back to out of box, because out of box can just drag on forever and ever. Anyway, I'll do one more final flyover. These are American fighters in Queensland. Anzac fighters in Malaya. China has yet to lose a cavalry this entire game. China has 2 tanks still. China has 4 artillery. since Germany has Archangel, Russia cannot get Lend-Lease for Europe, the Europe side of Russia. Oh, Canada also brought a transport down here to help get these Italians off of Malta. Okay. All right. That's what the board looks like. And again, the income. All right. We'll pick this up sometime this weekend. Roll the dice better.